Mr. Teeter.
Here.
President Vermillion.
Here. So council has copies of the February 12th, 2024 special executive session and regular meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections? Right, seeing none, it's accepted. We'll now go to commission and board reports. Board of Zoning Appeals, we have Emily Cole.
No report. There was no meeting in February.
Destination Hilliard, Greg Betts. I'm sorry?
No report. The next meeting is March 20th.
Non-working lights recycled, they're still accepting them at the community center. And I think AEP is planning to convert our street lights to LED lights, is that right? Nope. Just discussions, okay, so that's in a discussion phase, so I jumped the gun on that one. MORPC, Michelle Crandall.
No updates this evening, thank you.
And Planning and Zoning,
No report.
Public Arts Commission, we will be meeting the first Monday in March. Recreation and Parks,
We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and it was just a review of the event where they raised the top beam and pictures of the structure. That's it.
Shade Tree Commission,
No report.
Aging in Place.
No report.
And any other commissions I missed? Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda? All right. We do have several items on our consent agenda this evening. There are 3 liquor license requests, 4121 Main Street and 5499 Ten Pin Alley are due to transfer of ownership requests. And then 5344 Center Street is a stock transfer or change in stock membership, and no objections were received. And then the second item is reappointing a member to the city's Environmental Sustainability Commission. And then thirdly, 24-R-17 is reappointing members of the Board of Trustees of the Alton Place Community Authority. So would any council member like any of these items move to the regular agenda for further discussion? For the business of council, we have 1 second reading this evening. Will the clerk please read 24-03 by title only?
Amending chapters 1121 of the city's codified ordinances to modify regulations regarding backyard chickens and rear yard beekeeping within the RR Rural Residential District, R1 Low Density Residential District, R2 Low Medium Residential District, PUD Plan Unit Development District, and HCD Hilliard Conservation District.
Thank you. Is anybody in the audience here to speak on this one?
I have no one signed up, ma'am.
Okay. Does council have any further discussion or questions on this? All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
President Vermillion.
Yes.
Mr. Teeter.
Yes.
Ms. Hale.
Yes.
Vice President Cottone.
Yes.
Ms. Cole.
Yes.
Mr. Carrier.
Yes.
Mr. Betts.
Yes.
Pass 7-0.
Right, ordinance 24-03 has passed, and it will be in effect at the earliest date allowable by law. Okay, now we will go to first readings. We have 24-04. Will the clerk please read that by title only?
Amending Chapter 917 of the city's codified ordinances.
Would a council member like to sponsor and adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and now we have a staff report from Ms. Clodfeller.
Good evening, council members. These amendments to Chapter 917 deal with the process for issuing notices of violations and notices of payment due if the city takes action. On complaint basis, our Community Development Department inspects houses and properties that are not adhering to the city's weed code. If the grass or the weeds are found in violation, notices are sent. If those are not taken care of, the city takes on mowing the grasses in order to keep them in compliance. And this is just aligning the process for sending those notices and any payment requests consistent with other portions of city code. Be happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Any comments? Yes, Mr. Carrier.
I did a calculation and it said, it looks like you got liens on 7 properties for $2,500 and some odd dollars for mowing. That comes to like $370 a property. Is that for the full year mowing or is that just per mow?
I apologize, I do not know. I believe that's one mow, but I am unsure. I can double check that for you.
$368 is what it comes out to. I was just curious. I saw the numbers and I was like, that seemed a little bit expensive. I guess would the liens include youth add the cost to put the lien on and stuff like that?
Sorry, I can answer that. The liens do include an administrative charge plus other costs for placing the charge. So it does include a little bit more money than just the mowing cost.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great, thank you. So the second reading, public hearing on 24-04 will be held on March 11th, 2024. Will the clerk please read 24-05 by title only?
Amending Section 533.06 of the city's codified ordinances.
Would a council member like to sponsor and adopt?
Second.
All right, Ms. Gladfelder.
Thank you. Each fall, the city's codifier reviews our code to align our traffic and criminal code sections with Ohio Revised Code. Upon reviewing the changes that were made in the fall to the criminal code, Don Steele, our prosecutor, determined that an incorrect deletion was made in section 533.06 of our city's codified ordinances. So in order to make it align with Ohio Revised Code, this small language update needs to be made. Happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you so much. The second reading, public hearing on 24-05 will be held on March 11th, 2024. Now we move on to resolutions. Will the clerk please read 24-R-18 by title only?
To authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Director of Ohio Department of Transportation for annual bridge inspection compliance.
All right. Would a council member like to sponsor and adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and we have a staff report by Mr. Rowley.
Good evening, members of council. This resolution would authorize the city of Hilliard to join the ODOT Municipal Bridge Inspection Program, which was established for communities under 50,000 in population, where ODOT essentially takes on the primary inspection responsibilities that allow cities like Hilliard to comply with federal regulations. Of those inspections.
Are there any questions? All right.
Mr. Rowley, you said that this was for cities that have less than 50,000 people, is that right? So what happens when Hilliard exceeds that? Like, how often do they check our census? Or
it would be similar to what we're doing today. We would have to privately contract for inspection services of those bridges.
Okay, so we don't have, do we have to sign a contract for a certain number of years, or is it just until our population exceeds 50,000?
This is a 3-year program that ODOT has, so we'd be joining for the next 3 years. But I don't anticipate that our population is going to exceed 50,000 in the next 3 years.
Cool, thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much, Mr. Rowley. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Betts?
Yes.
Vice President Cottone?
Yes.
President Vermillion?
Yes.
Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Mr. Carrier?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Teeter?
Yes.
Passed 7-0.
24-R-18 has passed and is in effect at the earliest date allowable by law. Will the clerk please read 24-R-19 by title only?
Authorizing a contract for CBS Community Pool Phase 3 concrete pool floor renovation RP-3.1 and authorizing an expenditure.
Would a council member like to sponsor and adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a staff report from Mr. Merritt.
Thank you. Good evening, members of council. This resolution authorizes a contract for the third phase of the CBS community pool renovation. That includes preparing working dwelling for the state permit. It includes removing 6 inches of reinforced concrete of the pool floor on 3/4 of the pool bottom. It includes reinstalling that 6-inch layer of concrete, as well as installing the sealant, perimeter joint, and expansion joints in any of the new slabs, and then repairing any of the damaged lawn areas from the construction laydown area. We're asking council to waive competitive bidding requirements as we feel it's in the best interest of the city for this project for several reasons. We've been working to find contractors to actually bid on this project since 2022, if it was included in that capital project. Coming out of COVID, we had a hard time with the size of the project. It was too small for a lot of the big pool companies here in Ohio, and too big for a lot of the smaller ones. We were able to work with Patterson Pools, is the company that actually originally installed that pool, actually put the stainless steel gutter system and walls in place, and has done all the major renovations on that pool to date. The hope is by waiving the bidding, we'll save some funds on the engineer's estimates and some of those fees, because it's already been designed in that nature. The estimated cost for the project is $351,681. With the 10% contingency, that authorized amount is not to exceed $386,650. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
So did the pool live out its life expectancy?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah, so the crazy part is, for the majority of that pool bottom, there's 12 inches of reinforced concrete. The original time that they put it in was with 6, and when they started having problems, the second time they just put 6 in over top of that. So all we're doing is removing one section because the concrete itself is starting to delaminate and leak, and putting in new floor.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Carey.
What's phase 4 projected to cost?
We haven't got to that point. We thought that we'd be able to do all of phase 3, everything in phase 3, but through the state permitting process, if we included the deck portion of the project, it would bump us in. We'd have to redo the pool to today's standards, and we wouldn't be grandfathered into what we're at right now. So it shouldn't be significant. It'll probably be less than 100,000, just because the only phase left is the decking itself. But that triggered something through the state of Ohio.
Any other questions? All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Vice President Cottone,
Yes.
Ms. Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Hale,
Yes.
Mr. Carrier,
Yes.
President Vermillion,
Yes.
Mr. Teeter,
Yes.
Mr. Betts,
Yes.
passed 7-0.
24-R-19 is passed and is in effect at the earliest date allowable by law. So this concludes the legislative portion of the agenda. And for President's communication, I just wanted to, well, first of all, I'll read this, which is something that we received. The city received a community entertainment district application for True Point, which has been provided to council. As my role of president of council and duties as mayor, I recommend that staff move forward with the approval process. Okay. I did want to bring everybody's attention to the 5 focus areas that show up every meeting on our agendas, just for our residents to know that they're there. We do have 5 focus areas as a council. One is excellent innovative city services, family-friendly engaged community, distinct, well-planned community, quality commercial development, and valued cultural and recreational amenities and programs. Are there any city manager updates?
No, they're not. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Items for council discussion.
I have one, just a public service announcement. The Hilliard Education Foundation's Denim and Diamonds event is a week from Friday on March 8th. It's held at Hilliard Heritage Golf Course. The Hilliard Education Foundation is a group that raises money to provide grants for teachers for innovative teaching practices. They do great work in our school district and our community. Denim and Diamonds is a fun event with a DJ and dancing and heavy hors d'oeuvres, and just a wonderful fundraiser for the Hilliard Education Foundation. If you're interested in tickets, you can go to the HEF website or talk to me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other items? All right. I would entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same. All right, this meeting is now adjourned.
Wasn't that 22 minutes? This is like 21 minutes.
Pretty good.
I want to get
Pretty good.
20 minutes.